I know the formal recommendation report is coming up, and it's a bigger, longer, more intense assignment than anything we've had. But don't panic. Instead, let's watch how someone screwed it up. Whenever we do a student document, the whole thing is to try to help us get better perspective on our own writing and see what the effects of our own errors are. With this one, this author does some things well and some things not so well. This sample student document, actually done by a student of my class back in 2018, was for the environmental group, and this person was more interested in engineering, so he twisted the assignment. Twisted isn't a great word, but you know what I mean. Modified the assignment so it would tie into his specific interests, which you gotta love. You have a title page, and then you have Saving the World by Saving Yourself Money at the top. Name, date, and a short description of the document, which is cool. But one of the things I've got to wonder at this point, the letter of transmittal really should be the first thing on here, because when you're dropping a report off at a business, the letter sits on top of it so they know what it is and where to send it. Small thing, but there you go. Letter of transmittal looks like a business letter with the exception that we do not have a mailing address here. The SaberTech's mailing address is supposed to be right here. It ain't. Dear SaberTech, your company runs an agenda of engineering environmentally friendly devices that benefit both the environment and the consumer. The first part of it is like, hey, we know you're awesome, we know what this does. In 2018, the biggest environmental problem is global warming. Fortunately for the world, SaberTech has designed the blade exhaust filter tailpipe, which, unfortunately for the world, not many people have heard of the device or such a device in a time where global warming is at an all-time high. That's unacceptable. The interesting thing here is they're saying SaberTech has already designed this thing that I'm going to tell you all about. No, it's not really what this document is supposed to be doing. You're supposed to be trying to convince SaberTech to do this thing, not say that they already have done it. If they've already done it, why do they need your report? With the backing of the company, I plan to start a national campaign to obtain a government contract to have the tailpipe filter be mandated in every car sold and produced in the United States. Okay, but that's... You still have a little bit of problem there that they're saying, well, let's do this thing that you already do. If they were to write this from the perspective of your company should adopt my technology and then market it onward, it would have fit the assignment a little bit better. There's some comma issues. If we stop the pollution at one of the major sources, comma, then, not than, global warming will be greatly reduced. And I do like, though, that they make sure they end the letter with the sales. Onward. Now, you have to appreciate that they have a sense of design style in their pages. They could just have the straight, boring-looking wall of text, but they tried. We have an interesting thing here where all of this is all on the same level, which is fine, but once again, if we look at the assignment sheet, it did draw clear distinctions between the front matter of the text of the report, which itself is divided into an introduction with 4 sections, a body, and a conclusion, and then the back matter. And having at least the divisions within the text of the report represented on the table of contents would be great. Their list of illustrations was really just a... This is all the pictures I used, which isn't really the point of the list of illustrations. It's supposed to be a table of content for the images, so people can find specific images when they're around the accompanying text. Abstract. This works as an abstract. There's still comma issues. It is predicted by whom? Passive verbs. The comma thing is going to be recurring, particularly with introductory clauses, and it doesn't completely hide the meaning of the sentences. You can still figure them out, but it does look a little bit sloppy. So a proofread or two would be a good idea. Just like even words grammar checker caught that slow down was 2 words, not 1 word. Global warming issue. You see, we're just kind of jumping straight past the standard sections, and it really should be labeled as the standard sections. We have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 line paragraph. This could be made into smaller chunks. One possibility, the global warming phenomenon, unfortunately, would be another one. At any rate, it should be divided, because what happens when somebody runs into a large paragraph? Deep in their mind, they go, solution. Yeah, well, the image is labeled, but that's not referred to in here. That's the point. Blade filter, as in figure A, you're supposed to draw out the direct connections. How it works, it shows a picture of it working, and I don't know if this is a heading and this is a subheading, or these are supposed to be on the same level, because there's no real distinction in the headings as to what the organization is here. Why is this line on a different page than the text? That's a good question. Why would you have after and then before? And yeah, I know it's how the original picture is, but it's easy enough to say, flip them. I mean, hell, even Word will do that. The heading should be on the same page as the text. Is this how you cite stuff? No. When I said earlier that in another video that the pictures need to earn their place, this is the kind of thing I'm mentioning. Do you need to see a gas gauge to show that gas mileage is improved? Does this add anything at all? Figure E might add something, but again, it's not referred to in the text, so I'm not exactly sure where it's supposed to go. Marketability, not on the same page as the text here. Government contract, blade passed the testing since the filter is mandated. The process of obtaining government contract to mandate every car manufactured and sold in the USA by 2002 should be much easier to achieve. Well, the report said that they were going to convince the government of this, and this just describes what the government has already done. I'm not really sure how this is adding to what the author said they were doing here in the letter. I plan to start a national campaign to obtain a government contract to have the tailpipe filter be mandated in every car sold and produced in the United States. But they don't do that here, do they? And then we have future. We do not have the required sections for this document. Conclusion is to present overall findings, recommendations. And really, findings, recommendations, as headings, as subsections would be a great idea. We have a glossary of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 terms. I'm betting there's probably others in here that could be added. But you notice they're not in alphabetical order? And we have the works cited, but for whatever reason, this is on a different page. Why is this all caps? Look, this report obviously could be a lot worse, and in terms of the actual product, it seems to be a product that would make sense. The images seem to be demonstrating stuff that the person wants to talk about, but there's no direct connection between the images and the pictures, so I would have to use my own intellectual power to figure out what this is going to, what this is going to. And I shouldn't have to do that, not in terms of a report. The goal of the writer is to walk the reader through it. Having the required sections, it's not hard. Introduction as a big heading. Subheading, background. Give me a brief description of the background. Problems. List out a few of the problems that are existing in your field. Purpose statement. I'm going to try to do this. Scope. This is what the product will do. Are they designing a new car from scratch? No. The body and discussion broken down into sections as appropriate. Well, that's fine, but if we don't have the introduction and the conclusion mapped out, it's not as easy to figure out what the body is. it's your job to list all these things out. Keep the front matter in this order, keep the introduction with these sections, and it would help a lot. When you use an image, refer to it in the text so how it fits together is clear. And when you say you're doing something in any part of the document, you end up having to do that. So don't tell me you're going to start a national campaign unless you're telling me how you're going to start a national campaign. This person only mentions it at the end. So don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that this is horrible, but if they would have followed the format and followed some basic rules, it would have made it a whole lot better. So that's the first of the sample recommendation reports. Take away the good, throw away the bad, or at least recognize it and go back to your own stuff and throw it away there. With this one, this person didn't really want to stick to the requirements of the assignment. They are there for a reason, and following them will definitely help you do a more effective job. See you next time.